Well, hello, ladies. Today I have a special treat for you, and this will be an unedited video. I want to talk to you about manifesting your good, and I'm going to be reading from my book, which you can pick up on Amazon, by the way, in Kindle or book form, called How to Manifest Your Good. And I thought about, as I read through my book, I thought about you because I know that the Bible says it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom and all that's in it. And so I want to share with you one of my stories. It's an original true story that happened to me that I think you'll be able to pull out some tips to help you manifest your good. So I'm going to be right back, but before I leave you, be sure and subscribe, and when you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and share it with a friend, and you can also leave me a comment. So without further ado, let's get to it. Now, you young women know I'm old, okay? I'm in my 70s, so I'm still going on along, but I don't see as well as I used to be. So if I have to take my magnifying glass out, just bear with me, okay? So anyway, let's get going with the book. I've talked to you about the importance of the spoken word. You know, the Bible says that by your words you're justified, and by your words you are condemned. And I've talked to you about your thoughts and your visualization, because in the Bible it says without a vision the people perish. You got to visualize what you want, not what you don't want. So anyway, I'm going to pick up there and I'm going to begin to read to you. I'm going to read one story. There are many stories in this book. You can read them for yourself. They'll all help you, believe me, if you put them to work. But I'm going to read this story. So, the Lincoln. In 1979, I needed a car. I had just become an insurance agent for Prudential Insurance Company. It was the time of the gas guzzler, and most of the agents drove large, shiny black limousines, Lincolns or Cadillacs, to make themselves look prosperous. I wanted one too. Somehow, my black and tan Chevy Nova was not very appealing. It certainly didn't give the impression of success. Not to mention that it had a rather large hole in the floor of the driver's side. Every time it rained and I drove through water, it splashed up on my legs. Anyway, I started to visualize myself in a shiny black Lincoln. As I drove about to see my clients, I would speak out loud to myself, saying such things as, "I love my shiny black Lincoln." Or, "Oh, you're so smooth and beautiful. I love how comfortable you are." Over and over, I practiced visualizing myself in my new car. I pretended my Chevy was a Lincoln, and I spoke words as though my good had already come true. I spoke with passion and conviction. After a while, I started to believe in myself. One morning, while praying, an idea to bring my good into manifestation came to me. It said, "Put on your best outfit, take your big pocketbook, and drive over to the Lincoln Mercury dealership located in your neighborhood, and you are going to get the car you are envisioning." Ha! I'm sure many people would have ignored this idea because it was so far-fetched, especially since I didn't even have enough money for a down payment. However, I listened. Dressing in my best-looking suit, I took extra time to fix my hair and nails and to make sure my shoes were well shined. I also took my big pocketbook down from the closet. When I looked in the mirror, I smiled. I was a well-dressed woman who was ready for action. When I arrived at the dealership, I drove right up in front of the big bay windows and parked my car, got out, and went in. When I looked around, I saw a shiny, sleek, Lincoln Mercury convertible sitting on the showroom floor. Its top was down, and I confidently exclaimed, "That is the car for me." Well, several handsome, smiling salesmen came up to me, introduced themselves, and led me over, I'm sorry, I can't see it, beg your pardon, and led me over to the tan and beige Lincoln on the showroom floor. They opened the car door and bid me to please sit down in it and see how comfortable it feels. Indeed, it was plush, and as I sank down into the beige leather seat, I could feel its richness enfolding me. I could smell the new leather. It was first class all the way. Soon they had me pushing buttons to let the convertible top up, hear the stereo sound of the radio, and feel the cool breeze of the air conditioner. There were so many bells and whistles, I could hardly keep up with them all. I loved that car. Their attention was terrific, too. Then the owner of the dealership came out and took over. He introduced himself, shook my hand, and greeted me warmly. I was excited, and he was too. He invited me into his office to discuss how I could own that car. After getting my coffee, we sat down, and he said, "Miss Foster, this Lincoln was a show car, and we have had it on the road, and so I'm willing to give you a large discount on it." "Great," I said. I don't remember now what the exact price was, but I believe it was somewhere around $35,000. After he showed me the total cost he would sell it to me for, he said, "Why don't you give me $10,000 down, and I will finance the rest of it for you?" We both fell silent as he waited for me to answer. Smiling, I looked him in the eye, and I said, "Well, Mr. Noble, I don't have $10,000 right now, but I really like that car." "Oh, I understand," he said. "However, I think I can still finance it for you with a smaller deposit." He cleared his throat and began working his numbers with his pen once more. Then he said, "How about $5,000 down today?" I laughed and smiled as I looked him in the eye. "No, sir, I don't have $5,000. I wish I did, but I don't." "Well, Miss Foster," he said, "how much do you have?" "Mr. Noble, right now I don't have anything, but I could start paying you about $50 a month in 30 days. I'm driving that Chevy Nova you see out there, and she's got a hole in the floor, and it's not very attractive. I've just started a new job as an insurance agent and need a car. I've been praying for a new car every day for the past month or so, and I've been calling and visualizing myself in a luxurious Lincoln. This morning I woke up and God told me to come and see you. He said you would help me." With that, I fell silent and just smiled as I looked him in the eye. His face turned bright red, and he looked like a man who was about to choke. He said nothing, but his eyes were almost popping out of his head as he looked at me incredulously. Several minutes of silence passed by until finally he spoke. "Lady, I have been in this business for more than 30 years. In all my experiences here, I have never had anybody to walk into this showroom and expect to buy a Lincoln and they don't have a dime to their name. Quite frankly, I am not a religious man, and I'm not sure about God helping you, but I will. Come on with me." With that, we got up and walked out of his office and back onto the showroom floor. I immediately headed for the convertible Lincoln. "Oh, no," he said. You can't have that one, but follow me." "Yes, sir," I said, as we went to his outdoor car lot. He took me over to a long, sleek, black, four-door Grand Marquis Lincoln with shiny silver mag wheels. Opening its door, he said, "Slide in and see how you like this one." As I did so, I sank down into its plush black leather. I put my hands on the large silver steering wheel that was also encircled in leather. I turned on the radio, and it was AM, FM with a stereo sound that surrounded me. I clicked on the air conditioner button, and the air came flowing through. It was crisp and cool. There was also a tape deck, and of course, cruise control. I gasped because the car was magnificent. It appeared to be the same car I had been envisioning and speaking about. "How do you like this one?" he asked. "Thank you, Mr. Noble." With a lilt in my voice, I said, "This one will be just fine." "How's your credit?" "I don't have any right now, but I know I could pay you about $50 a month." "Okay, let me see what I can do. Call me tomorrow morning and I'll let you know." "Thank you, sir. Thank you." With that, I said goodbye and drove to my insurance office. There were several agents there, and I excitedly told them what had just happened to me. There was one man standing there who had been in the car business. When I told him who I'd gone to see, he was surprised. He said he doubted if this man would help me because he had never known him to help anybody. He said I shouldn't be disappointed when I call, and he says no. Now, right here, I want to caution you. When you start to manifest your good, be careful who you tell about it. There are many negative people in the world who will try to tear up your dream. I have learned since that time that it is vitally important. Keep your dream to yourself. I compare it to a woman carrying a baby. While it is in the womb, you must be very careful and protect it. You cannot afford to let everyone touch it. It's the same with the good you are seeking to manifest. Do not share it with anyone while it is in the embryonic stage. It can be so easily torn up and destroyed, even by well-meaning friends or loved ones. Also, when you first manifest your good, you must still protect it until it is strong enough to stand on its own. Anyway, back to my story. I ignored that man making those negative comments and chose to believe that the manifestation I've been calling for was going to materialize. I believed the answer would be yes. The next morning, I called, and when the owner came on the line, he said, "Miss Foster, we have your car all cleaned up and waiting for you. When can you come to get it?" With a shout of glee, "Yippee!" I said to to the owner, "I'm on my way." I said to the owner, "I'm on my way right now." I still get excited about it. When I arrived, the car was all shined up and waiting. The dealer came out to greet me warmly. He said he had only one thing to ask of me. "Got a quarter?" "Yes, sir, I do. I'd like for you to give it to me as a good faith effort. I put up your down payment, and I've had your payment set up for $50 a month, which will begin in 30 days. Now, here are the keys to your new car, the one you've been calling for, the one you've been calling forth into manifestation." What a demonstration that was! Who would have thought that by being courageous enough to follow the divine idea that was given to me, I would become the owner of a sleek, black, four-door Lincoln Mercury with a good faith effort of only 25 cents down. When you're given an idea that is in line with your good, don't ignore it or say, "Oh, that won't work." No matter how unusual it may sound, in fact, the more unusual it is, the more you know it's coming from God. That may be the very idea that will bring your good into manifestation, like it did mine. But you will miss your blessing if you don't use it. Courage. It takes courage. It took courage for me to do what I did. Okay, to go there and, I didn't have a dime in my pocket. Okay, but courage can only be developed in the face of fear. So be courageous and put that idea into action. And you can start by reading my book. You'll find it on Amazon, or you can read it on Kindle there if you want. And you'll find a lot of great tips and stories that will help you to bring your good into manifestation. God bless you.